going to give time for the governor to speak, and so he did that. I'm trying to get our video pulled so we can answer questions as well. There we go. All right, so we just want to talk this afternoon about the amendment to the declaration this morning, closing bars, asking restaurants to be at 50% capacity, no standing room in bars of those restaurants with also 50% capacity, senior hours for pharmacies and grocery stores 62 and older, and then closing city venues. And so I had asked Kyle Spurgeon, who's the President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, here to come with us and talk about the impact. This decision that we made was not one that was made lightly. We want everyone to follow the social distancing guidelines. We want to keep those 20% population who are at high risk. It has a very big financial impact on all of us, every single person. So we have a team that's looking to research those answers. It's going to keep us updated, and I'll keep you updated as those situations develop. Every day is new territory for all of us. And so we're working around the clock to find solutions for you. So I want you to just lean on the fact that you are following guidelines from larger cities, the CDC, the state government, the federal government, and the decision came down to economic disruption to save lives. I think one of the first things that we can talk about with that economic disruption is the West Tennessee Healthcare Foundation Relief Fund. And so that was announced this morning. It's for emergency response fund to be allocated to nonprofit agencies working directly with those severely impacted by this crisis. The grants will address pressing issues such as residents who've experienced job loss, significant reduction in hours, residents who have lost income due to school or daycare closures, residents who lack adequate benefits to cover time off, residents who are food insecure. Also, those are residents who are facing housing insecurities. There's a website to go, WTH.org, West Tennessee Healthcare Foundation, or WTHfoundation.org. Right, okay. One bit of information I wanted to share with you all before, if you are someone who has lost their job due to a bar closing or a restaurant reduction in capacity, there is some good news outside of those ways that we can help with the services that agencies can provide. Kroger is looking for employees. They are severely understaffed to meet the demand that they have right now. I just spoke to the regional manager for our Kroger stores here in Jackson, and she wants to encourage people who are looking for employment to go to jobs.kroger.com, and you can apply online there, and they are in desperate need of employees. And so that may be some relief for you in the interim. And Governor Bill Lee also yesterday requested and submitted for economic injury disaster loan assistance to the U.S. Small Business Administration. He made that declaration. All Tennessee small businesses and nonprofit organizations that have suffered economic injury as a result of COVID-19 will be eligible to apply for disaster loan assistance of up to $2 million per applicant. So you can check that out at sba.gov. And then we have Jackson Chamber here, and I will let Kyle talk about some of the things that they are doing. They'll be releasing information about assistance as it becomes available, and then they can talk about everything they have going on. I got some notes for you, Kyle, if you want some.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Conger. One thing I'd like to say first is, like all of us, our schedules at the Chamber have been disrupted, and we're doing things this week that we really never dreamed we would be doing. I would like to make sure everyone in the business community, and actually every resident of Jackson, Madison County watching this, I've spent my mornings this week at 8:30 in a meeting Mayor Conger has called with Mayor Harris, officials from J.R. Ross, West Tennessee Healthcare, Health Department, United Way, Emergency Management, and to tell you that we are prepared would be an understatement. I've watched as leaders in this community have learned from the mistakes and from the positives that other communities around the world have experienced. And these meetings are continuing, and I leave there each morning learning new facts, but always leaving there knowing that this community will be prepared the best that it possibly can be. On the business side, the chamber, you traditionally look at us as an organization that is out there recruiting new business, working with our existing businesses, working with small businesses. We are working with every business, chamber members, other businesses who may not even be members of the chamber, supporting them during this time. What we will do best during this time is convene organizations and groups and push information back out. Mayor Conger just mentioned about the SBA assistance that will be available. Visit our website at jacksontn.com. That information will be there. We're continuing to update that, and you'll see a change in the look of that website or a microsite attached to jacksontn.com that'll give you information that Visit Jackson is compiling on restaurants that are open, curbside service that is open. Those resources that are out there will continue to add to that. Mayor Conger just mentioned that Kroger is looking for employees. There's a lot of folks who will be displaced, and I think creative solutions will continue to arise daily where we can connect folks who are working in one industry or one business that may have its hours diminished and give them opportunities to apply at other businesses around the community where their services could be needed. One thing that I have seen over the last couple of days, and actually shared it on my Facebook page, is we are already starting to run into some great stories of how businesses are changing, pivoting, adapting. Gourmet Your Way is an example of that. They have changed their business model from catering to carryout and to delivery. We're seeing some great stories like McCoy's Heating and Air. Whenever they're calling on a customer, they'll ask if, first of all, are you okay with us being in your house with mask and gloves on? And if it's an elderly patient, asking if they can stop by the grocery store or pick up something from them along the way. So I think the bottom line in listening to stories like that, the most successful small businesses and organizations will be those that adapt and change, but also those stories out there about how you help each other, like McCoy's and others are doing. So those stories are out in the community, and we'll continue to push those out. I think one of the best things that we can do in this community, and again, we're seeing it every day, is learn from what other communities who are weeks ahead of us during the COVID-19 situation, learn what they did best and what they didn't do so well. And so the chamber will continue to be involved in those discussions. The information will be available at jacksontn.com. We'll be working with the city, the county, other organizations to make sure that all the information we push out is consistent with what everyone else is doing.
Thanks, Kyle. And I think, with everything that's going on, I know that people probably have more questions than we have answers, but we are here right now. If you have any specific questions that we could answer, if we can't answer them, then we will get you the answer and get back with you. I want to make sure that we are all as informed as we possibly can be. This seems like this is changing every day, and we just want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can to stay ahead of it, to flatten the curve. I think that's where we talk about a lot. I hear people say, well, I'm not at risk, I'm going to go out, I'm going to go to the store. You can do that. You can not be part of social distancing, but that 20% of the population, your grandmother, someone who has respiratory issues, who has immune deficiencies, those are the ones that are at risk, and those are the ones that we're worried about. We're also trying to make sure that we're flattening the curve of the capacity that our healthcare system can handle. Once we get above that line of what they can handle, then we will be in dire need of some assistance, and we don't want to get to that point. And so everything that we do today is to prevent a catastrophic event from happening here in Jackson and West Tennessee. Kyle, I guess you did a good job, because last time we were on here, people just started unloading with questions, and
we've got nothing.
No questions yet.
But you got thousands of viewers, right?
I got a couple hundred, yeah.
I think one thing I can add is we often, you see on social media, or people call, what can I do to support a small business? Like, the basic thing is do business with them. Find a way to do that. whether it is a gift shop where you call and place an order, and if you feel like go in and get it. They can deliver that curbside. We're hearing a lot about restaurants adapting and doing that. When you hear the word local, know that local means stores and businesses in Jackson and Madison County. Support those folks that are here. And I think by doing that, we're going to enable these small businesses to weather this storm just a little bit better.
We do have a couple questions coming in. So one was, how do we get plates renewed? So you can go online. That is actually a county service. I did talk with Mayor Harris today, and they are planning to screen people as they come in and still provide those services as well. You can also go online to do that. There are plans for a drive-through testing center. We call it testing, really it's an assessment center. And so they're going to assess those who are following that 20% category, those healthcare workers, also those that have health risk. Now you got a lot of questions coming in. I can't scroll through them fast enough. And so they'll assess. We're still at a very limited supply of tests, and those are very specific. You have to have a plastic handle for the swab. You have to have a certain solution far beyond my comprehension of what you put the specimen in to send it off. And so we're at a very low capacity and low threshold for those testing, but we will work on doing a drive-through assessment and testing once we get more capabilities. There we go. And so how long is the state of affairs supposed to be in the status quo? That's a great question. If you would have asked me, last Thursday, if I would be doing a Facebook Live video about what we're doing, the declaration that I made today, I would have said you were crazy. And so this situation is evolving every minute, every day, every hour. And so if I were to give you any speculation on how long it will be, I don't know. Until we can get over the curve, until we can see a reduction, I don't even know that we have hit a peak yet. We still see every day that our numbers climb on confirmed positive cases. So just know that we're doing the best we can to make sure that we're preventing the worst from happening. Going through here. As of this afternoon, there are no confirmed positive cases in Madison County yet. We are monitoring that every day. Any plans to provide food to those unable to get to a grocery store if mandatory quarantine goes into effect? That's about 4 steps from where we are right now. So we are planning and preparing every day, but we have not gotten to that point of our planning. I can tell you this, we're going to do the best that we can to provide services and make sure that no one is going without food or their basic needs. The coronavirus may affect how the census is taken. That's a great segue. While you're home and your kids are home and you may be home from work, this is a great opportunity to go online to the Census website and fill out your census form. That is going to be invaluable for us going forward. Numbers matter, and so if we've got some time at home, fill your census form out. Stores. So I think stores may be running out of supplies, but they have a steady stream of supplies coming in. Ask how long it's going to last. The stores are running out. Companies, factories letting people go home. Who is going to be supplying the stores with supplies we need? So I talked with, like I said, the regional manager from Kroger this afternoon. They don't have a supply problem. They have a workforce problem at the local stores to stock the shelves, and so they are encouraging anyone who may be displaced during this time to apply at jobs.kroger.com because they have a serious need for manpower at their Kroger stores. I think Kyle asked if any factories here are shut down. I think we've only had one so far.
We just had an email about 30 minutes ago. Toyota announced that originally that they would be shut down starting Sunday through Tuesday. They have now extended that until April 3rd. That actually mirrors some other plants, the Nissan plant in Middle Tennessee. It's an automotive company. I would also expect that we will see the same from other manufacturers here. I'll tell you, as of today, at this hour, we have not been notified of any others that are shutting down.
And so the next question is, what about people that shop for elderly, grandparents, etc.? Continue to shop. The stores are open, and part of the declaration this morning was to allow for an hour for every grocery store for those who are 62 and older. And so make sure that you're getting enough essentials for your elderly grandparents and those who you care for. How long is the turnaround testing? 48 to 72 hours. It has to be sent off. And so if there are states that have a 2-hour turnaround, as this comment says, I have not been told. I think that Tennessee doesn't have any 2-hour turnaround tests. They're still 48 to 72 hours and have to be sent off. We don't have any confirmed cases in Jackson, Madison County yet. We say yet because we still have several cases, I think 7, that are out. They're in line to be tested in the next several days, and so we're waiting on those. So included with the elderly showers. Health issues in immunosuppressant included with the elderly shoppers. No, not right now. That it is for everyone to get a doctor's note and present that. Just making so many exemptions and exceptions for shopping would be overwhelming for an already understaffed grocery store now. So we're going to start there. Like I said, this is ever evolving every day. So we're assessing and planning every single day on what to do next.
Mayor Conger, if I could say something too, I ate out at lunch here today downtown, and the waitress told me, said, this is actually the best time to ever come in and eat. Our restaurant's never been cleaner. So think about if you're staying home because you're afraid to go to a restaurant, what the mayor has put in place here and what we're seeing across the country, the social distancing, and what the restaurants have to do to stay clean, you're going into a very clean environment. So I would encourage you to go out to eat, visit those establishments that you typically visit, but you just know you'll see 50% capacity in there. It will be a clean place.
And there's a question about raising prices on tissue paper. If they are, Robin, you call my office, 731-425-8240, because that is something that should not and will not be happening, and you can let us know where that is, what the price range is, and we will get that taken care of. Had several conversations with people from salons today. That's a difficult one because you can't cut someone's hair and practice social distancing at the same time. So I would say be very, very mindful if you're going to still operate a salon. I would screen every single every single customer that you have coming in, because you can't be too safe, and that is a concern. But make sure that you're screening to the best of your ability. Driver's license renewed if it's expired. I think they are pushing off expirations. I know I did hear the governor a second ago make mention of carry permits. Did he mention driver's license too? Yes. So call Tennessee Department of Transportation just to make sure. I don't want to tell you that and you say Mayor Conger said I get my license renewed, and then you get pulled over. So call Tennessee Department of Transportation here just to make sure. But I'm pretty sure that they said they will be extending that period of driver's license. If price gouging is going on, we have to know about it to be able to stop it. And so it has to be specific, it has to be reported, and we have to be able to know where, what, and who is doing it so we can stop it. We can't do that without the specifics. 50% capacity. So most of our restaurants, I would say a high percentage of our restaurants are appreciative of the 50% capacity. This allows them to move tables, and what a lot of restaurants have done is they've moved their tables out to address the 50% capacity, and they are self-monitoring if there is an issue. then we will use our codes enforcement to go in and address that if there is an issue. Ask for clarification on not a bar, not a nightclub, not a restaurant, as a, what does it say, as a family dance place. If there's not a bar or restaurant, doesn't serve food, it is a venue that's open to the public. And so that is a 50% capacity, no more than 100. And if you are a dance hall, then I would also recommend watching that as well, because it's difficult to dance without maintaining the social distancing of let's see, gyms are included in item 6 of places that are open to the public, and that is 50% capacity, no more than 100 at a time, to make sure that we're practicing social distancing. Yes, the video will stay up for those who can't join now. We'll post the video as soon as we get done, so it'll be up just like all of our other live videos, and so someone can go and watch it afterward. All right, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I'm gonna give you a couple seconds if you have some questions, and then answer those. Will small family business be forced to be closed?
Could they be forced to be closed?
If the question is, will small family business be forced to be closed?
I don't know any business that'll be forced to be closed. I think the environment that we're in, what this community, chamber, and everyone's trying to do is make sure we create an environment moving forward where small businesses can survive this. I think most will, because the assistance is out there. Best thing you can do is continue to ask questions. Look at best practices to how to drive more customers to your business during this time. There's a lot of examples out there. For me to sit here and say it's not going to be tough would be a lie. It's going to be extremely tough. And I think we've got to all rely on each other. I would talk to, I don't know what type of business you're in, but I would talk to others in other states or other communities that do something similar to you, learn what they're doing. If there's some specific things that I can answer from a chamber perspective or direct you somewhere, my number is 731-616-8878. Be glad to answer those.
I put up a time frame on questions. They started flying in. So inmates in the CD's in the Madison County Jail. I know that our police department is working with the Sheriff's Department and Madison County. So the jail is operated and run by the Sheriff's Department. So they're working. They had started meeting this week about protocols in place to protect inmates and protect anyone who may be arrested in that time frame, just so that we're not exposing the entire population of the CJC.
Mayor, if I may go back, I think I may have answered that question from a different perspective that it was asked. They may have been asking, would the city or the county force them to shut down? And I think as long as they fall into guidelines with what you have recommended and authorized, that's not going to happen.
And nothing is permanent. I'm hopeful that we can lift those closures sooner rather than later. It's today and tomorrow and the next day until we get over this, until we get into some areas that that are known, that we feel calmer about. Then public safety is the #1 priority right now, and that's what we're going to try to long-term recovery, long-term provide resources for businesses and small businesses and those employees. If an employee is awaiting a test result, then they should be at home. They should be at home until that test result comes back if it's negative. If there has been exposure, that employee should be home for a quarantine period of up to 14 days. I'll give you one example. Yesterday we had a firefighter and a police officer come in contact with someone who had traveled to Italy. They got home a few days ago, and so the firefighter and the police officer are now at home, and so there is the remaining quarantine days for the individual is less than 14. So if he doesn't contract the disease by his quarantine time, then we will know he doesn't have it, and so then our firefighter and police officer can come back to work before their 14 days. Veterans can get help from the Office of Veterans Affairs. Disabled and their caregivers, again, you know, those hours, that declaration, this is an ever evolving event. If I were to sit here and tell you that I have every single answer today, or I will have every single answer tomorrow, I wouldn't be truthful. And so we are working hard every day to make the best of this situation, and we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we're flattening this curve. Schools right now are scheduled through March 31st. That will be up to the school superintendent with the direction of the governor. And so we'll find that out. We're all waiting where this will go and what this will do. Why aren't manufacturing companies taking temperatures before entry to ensure the safety of the employees who rotate workstations?
I think that's a fair question. Our industries here that we're working with, they all get their directives for what happens inside the plant, outside of any federal, local, or state mandates from their corporate offices. That may be coming at some point, and it may be happening in other parts of the country right now, but they're abiding by the mandates that are out there presently.
All right, I think that is all of the questions. And folks, if you have questions, you can call the office, you can send me an email, sconger@cityofjackson.net, send me a message. Commenting on the videos after the videos are over get a little difficult for me to follow and respond to, so messages work better. If you have messages, and I'll do my best to answer them or get an answer for you if I don't have an answer. I think it's important that we remember this, we're all in this together. None of this is comfortable for anyone, and if we do this, if we keep practicing social distancing, we reduce and flatten the curve, then we can get out of this sooner than later. Preparedness is the key, prevention is the key, being proactive is the key, and so if we all do our part, then we can end this sooner than not having to drag out as long as it possibly can. So thank you all for tuning in and your great questions, and we will keep you updated as we get more information.